structures. Mr. Ball was wondering what it would be like to break some of those skulls and peer inside. But Brian thought that would be indulgent, not to mention impolite. He passed a group of market traders, many of whom were selling old books and pamphlets on science and philosophy. One stall sold art that consisted of framed quotations, presumably by famous intellectuals. Payment was in a currency called infos. Brian recognized that the coinage was a type of microdisc for data storage. Information was undeniably king on Magnox. The place made Brian feel restless. All these little lives, trading in little facts to better enlighten themselves. Really, what was the point in gathering so much knowledge when life could end at any moment? Mr. Ball was itching to cause some havoc. Whether that would be for the greater good or bad, well, Brian wondered if he had a proper choice in the matter. If his recent travels with the doctor had proved anything, it was that random chaos liked to win, and always fought back. But the further Brian wandered from the Chronicon district, with its tidy streets and trickling canals, the more he discovered the real Magnox. Away from the center, the impressive head shapes of the local population became more subtle, less pronounced. And while the information-obsessed market stalls gave way to more essential wares, fruit, vegetables, breads, they still enticed customers by offering free books, pamphlets, and even verbal information to gain a competitive advantage. Brian felt more at ease here, but Mr. Ball still twitched. As the streets closed in, the calls of the market traders faded to distant echoes. Here the sandstone buildings were less brushed and gleaming, more aged and crumbling. There was an elitism to this planet, and it centered on the Chronicon. But here in the city's outer orbits, the streets bore the mark of harder lives. There was earthy talk and suspicious stares. And somewhere down a side alley, Brian heard a disagreement. Perhaps something interesting at last. He stepped into the alley and the sounds became clearer. A scuffle, a thrown punch, a yelp of pain. There was likely some fun to be had in this direction, thought Brian, and Mr. Ball agreed. A young Magnoxan man lay in the dirt, a smear of blood on his cheek.
"Even for a Grunton, you've got a rank temper,"
he muttered. Standing over him were three humanoid aliens, hairy and bear-like with their paws clenched into fists, all intent on violence. The largest grabbed the boy by the neck and chucked him further down the alley like a rag.
"You lied to us, Wim,"
it said.
"You promised us an answer."
Wim coughed up the dust, scratching his throat.
"I never promised that you'd like it,"
he croaked.
"Last chance. Where's the silver-eyed little grunter? Where is it hidden?"
"In your imagination,"
said Wim.
"It never existed. It's a myth."
"Liar!"
screamed the enraged Grunton.
"Give us our money back or you die."
Brian observed the fray and contemplated whether to join in with the Grunton's lynching or help the youth. Mr. Ball decided that the latter would be more satisfying. Brian marched forward. As the Gruntons heard the approaching footsteps, they turned to face the gatecrasher. But before they could react, Brian pirouetted expertly between the three and let Mr. Ball stroke their brows with a deadly crackle of electricity. The Gruntons hit the ground with deadweight thuds. Brian sensed to Mr. Ball's disappointment that it was over all too soon, although there was still another possible victim to be had. Wim got to his feet. He was barely an adult, but displayed a burden of hardship in his sunken eyes. Unlike the more elite Magnoxans, his cranium had hardly expanded, with only a cluster of bumps and ridges protruding. He looked tense, and Brian recognized the stance. He was wavering between fight or flight. The boy obviously wondered if he was about to die.
Thank you,"
said the youth.
"My name's Wim."
"I am Brian,"
said the Ood, still holding the translation sphere outstretched.
"Mr. Ball would like to continue with the fun, even though you haven't done anything worthy of his attention. Not yet, anyway."
"I have to say, dropping 3 Gruntons like that is mighty impressive,"
said Wim.
"Say you don't kill me, and I buy you a drink? To repay you?"
"That would be agreeable,"
said Brian, and he retracted the sphere.